Leaks like this under baths, if gone unnoticed, can cause serious damage to the wood. A lot of floors can rot out. This was caught just in time by the customer. The customer had already isolated it, so I switched it back on just to see if it was leaking. You can see by the corrosion that it had been, but I was just curious here. These isolation valves can be a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, because they're plastic and a bit rubbish. The front flexi was the one that was the problem, but I decided that I thought it was best to change both of them as I was there. I was also changing the bath waste at the same time, so it was easy enough to get at the back flexi. If you find my videos useful, please like and subscribe because it helps. When using any isolation valve, always make sure that the water's actually off. Personally, I'd avoid touching these push-fit isolation valves as they can be a problem. Water was off, so then I was good to go. I've been using these Tekker's hand spanners for flexis lately. I've only recently just got them, but they seem pretty good. They're great for tight spaces, so I like to use them where I can, especially under baths and under sinks. It can be real awkward to fit in a spanner, or even a basin wrench can be awkward to fit in sometimes. Some people say you can only need to do up these flexis hand tight, but I believe that this was part of the problem as to why this was leaking. I always find that giving them an extra nip up does really help. The set of these tap spanners I've got comes with 3/4 for bath and 1/2 inch for basin. Managed to remove the flexis from the isolation valves. I wouldn't recommend keeping these isolation valves, as like I said before, they're pretty poor quality, and once they've been tampered with, they're never sealing again. Got a rough measurement for my pipe, which was going to fit in there. A new bit of 22mm copper going from the flexi to the new isolation valve that I was going to put in there. Fit the new flexi on. People will say hand tight, but I give it extra nip up, especially with these nice little tap spanners, hand tap spanners rather. Give it a little nip gently, and you know you're good then. Can't really tell from here, but the O-ring doesn't look particularly great inside that isolation valve. Another reason why I wanted to change it. So I turned off the mains water. This was a pressurized system, so shutting off the mains here, turned off both the hot and cold. More plastic coming off the stop tap. I think whoever did this house just basically did everything in plastic, which was a bit irritating because I'd rather get rid of some of it. Make sure the water's off. Can't stress this enough. It can be a right nightmare. You undo a fitting and the water's not off, you can be in big trouble. Switch the isolation valve back on just to make sure any lower water would be gone. There wasn't really much here, a bit drilled out of one of the pipes, but nothing too much. What I'm doing here is putting a couple of nailing clips underneath these isolation valves. The reason for this is I did not want the 22mm push fit pipe to drop through the floor when I'm fiddling about trying to remove these isolation valves. Because once that's gone under that floor, it was tiled outside of the bath, I'd have never been able to get them. The 22mm nailing clips just hold them there. This pipe looked a bit sort of damaged. It didn't need cutting. I just decided to clean it up a bit. It was just where the old fitting had been on it. You can see by the video that I'd already done the cold. I did this after I fitted the waste. I'd recommend doing it before fitting the waste because it's easier to get on. Hence why I didn't film that one, because it was a bit awkward to get the camera in there. Copper olives seem to compress better on plastic. Luckily copper came with these lever valves, the butterfly valves rather. I used a bit of jointing compound on the copper olive on the copper pipe, but nothing on the plastic. Bites in quite nicely, and it was high pressure, so I would have known if there was any issue straight away. Got the Nipex grips here proving their worth, and this Nerad spanner doesn't fit all nuts sadly, but fitted these ones perfect, so get a nice bit of leverage on these 22mm fittings, compression fittings that is. I was using push fit flexies on this occasion, which I'm sure a lot of people like to moan about, but it just makes life so much easier under the bath. Mark the pipe, push the fitting on, job done. Take the old 22mm clips out that I put in, slowly turn the water on, flush through the pipes through the basin. And I checked the fittings below the bath to make sure everything was good. Turn the valves on first before you check underneath. Once I knew everything was sort of good underneath the bath and that there was no real problems going to arise, I could then turn the mains water on fully. I only turn it on slight initially just to let the water build up, and if there's any problems it will show itself quite quickly, and then you can turn it on full once you're satisfied that there's no issues. You always want to check the gland on the stop tap if you fiddled around with it, because when they are turned they can leak, so it may need a nip up of the gland and the water back on full. One final test, and that is a good leak sorted and less damage caused underneath the bath.